Welcome to KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. Today I'm starting my holiday baking series. I thought I'd start early this year because many of the recipes I'll be making can be made well ahead of time, frozen, thawed, and then prepped just in time to serve during the holidays. In this video, I'll show you how easy it is to make these really soft, moist, almost biscuit-like keto almond cookies. And like all of my recipes, these cookies are sugar-free and gluten-free, so you can serve them to just about anybody. The macronutrient ratio for each of these keto almond cookies is 3.6 to 1, with 2.4 grams of total carbs, 1 gram of soluble fiber, 0.7 grams of insoluble fiber, resulting in 0.8 grams of net carbs per cookie. This is a really easy, no-fuss recipe, so let's get right into it. First, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. Also, as part of your prep, place a sheet of parchment paper onto your cookie sheet and just set it aside, you'll need it later. Now, get a mixing bowl and drop in the unsalted butter, the almond butter, and the granulated sweetener. Today I'm using my Lakanto Gold granulated, but you can use any 1-to-1 sugar substitute, whichever one you prefer or you have on hand. Whisk for 1 minute until the butter and all the other ingredients are well combined and the butter looks light and fluffy. And set this bowl aside for a moment. Then get a smaller bowl and crack 2 eggs into it. Use a fork to whisk the eggs. You just want to combine the yolks and the whites, but don't whisk vigorously because you don't want to introduce a lot of air, which would make the eggs fluffy. To the eggs, add the vanilla and the almond milk, and then using your fork again, whisk until everything is well combined. Now pour this egg mixture into your butter mixture and whisk well to combine. You can do this manually with the wire whisk, or you can use a hand mixer, and if you're using a hand mixer, whisk for about 1 to 2 minutes. A bit longer if you're doing it by hand. What you want is a very creamy mixture. The next step is to place a fine mesh sieve over the bowl, the one with the liquid ingredients, and to this sieve add the dry ingredients, which are the almond flour, the coconut flour, finely ground salt, glucomannan, and baking powder. Then stir or whisk so that all the ingredients pass through the sieve, and this will result in nicely aerated and combined dry ingredients. Okay, having gotten all your ingredients through the sieve, fold to combine the sifted dry ingredients with the egg mixture until the dry and wet ingredients are well combined, but don't overmix. This makes a very nice soft cookie dough, but this is too soft to work with, so place your soft cookie dough onto a sheet of cling wrap, flatten the dough, this will help it cool more quickly, and also don't forget to wrap the dough very nicely with the cling wrap. Now place the dough into the refrigerator and let it chill for about an hour. That should be about long enough. As you can see, this chilled dough is much easier to work with, and to help make all of my cookies the same size, I'm going to use a 1 tablespoon scoop, which results in about a 20-gram scoop of dough. And to make sure that all my cookies are the same, I weigh each of the scoops. After weighing, roll the scooped cookie dough into a ball and place onto your parchment-lined cookie sheet, but make sure you leave enough room between each of the balls because they will expand a bit while they're baking. And then just repeat until all of your dough has been used up and you've created about 26 balls. The next step is to gently press down on each of the dough balls to flatten them a bit. To give them that nice sheen and glossy texture, what I do is I take an egg yolk, which I whisked very well, and using my pastry brush, I lightly brush the surface of each of the cookies. And the last pre-baking step is to use a butter knife and make crisscross indentations on the surface of each cookie. Having prepared all of my cookies, I place the cookie sheet into the middle position of my preheated oven and bake for about 10 to 15 minutes. And when your timer goes off, remove the cookie sheet from the oven and let the cookies cool right on the sheet for a few minutes, because they'll be very crumbly at this stage. And after your cookies have rested for about 10 minutes, carefully transfer the cookies onto a wire cooling rack. I have found to get the best taste, you have to let the cookies rest on the wire rack overnight. This will allow for the full taste of these delicate almond cookies to really develop and to come through. And that's all there is. If you're not serving these right away or you have a few extra left over, store these cookies in a cookie tin, but not a really airtight one. That's because an airtight container will keep in all the moisture and the cookies will become too humid and you'll find that they'll be much more crumbly. The cookies will stay well in a dry, cool place for about 3 to 4 days unless you are in a hot and humid climate, in which case you may want to put them in the fridge. As I mentioned, these cookies can be made ahead of time and frozen, but what I would do is I would make the cookie dough as I've described and then scoop out and roll the dough. Place these dough balls into a freezer-safe container, but don't crowd them. And then if you have a second layer, place another sheet of parchment and gently layer the rest of the balls on top. And before storing, make sure that your lid is airtight. They should keep about 2 to 3 months. And when you're ready to bake them, just take them out of the freezer, let them get to room temperature, place them on a cookie sheet and bake as I've already instructed. I love cookies anytime, but especially during the holidays. They're a nice treat to have on hand because they're easy to plate up and serve to your guests or family. I will be making quite a few different cookies over the next little while, so do let me know which kind of cookie you like and if there's a special one that you would like to request that I could possibly make before the holidays. In the meanwhile, to inspire you, please check out my Christmas Treats playlist, which I have added as an end link. As always, the link for the written and printable recipe, which can be translated to any language, is available in the description below. Thank you very much for watching my video, and if you found my videos useful, please share the link to my video with someone that you think might also enjoy my cookies and other recipes. And I hope that you come back and watch my next video when it's posted. Until then, stay well and have a wonderful day. Cheers!